I'm not gonna lie, but this week was a rough one. As much as I love brand designing, designing your own brand is an incredibly hard challenge. Along with the challenge of designing my own brand and kind of redoing my portfolio, I've also just kind of had a rough week. Like, I've kind of just started losing hope and finding a new position. Yes, technically my current job is a design position, but in all reality, I don't really design things. So yeah, it was a rough one. Just kind of regaining my hope and my mojo, along with challenging myself super hard and creating a brand that I don't hate, which also very difficult if you ever designed your own brand for yourself. So today we're gonna go through what I did for my personal brand, as well as just kind of what's been going on with my week. We're gonna start off this video with a little bit of a rant, actually. The job market sucks. I graduated college in 2022. I've been technically working in my industry since 2023, but it feels impossible to find an entry-level job. Like, it's just not something that you can do, and everything wants senior level. But even when you find an entry level, it's only remote and there's thousands of applicants, and it's a mess, especially because I'm in, I wouldn't say a small town. It's definitely it is the biggest city in the Midwest. I think it's one of the biggest, but it's just challenging being 25 and still looking for a job in my career path and can't find it. It's just impossible. So that's one of the reasons why I've kind of started leaning in towards the freelance space, just kind of the hopeless job market. So I'm trying to break that cycle of just finding a job and hating it and being pushed into positions that I don't necessarily enjoy, or being pushed into something that isn't even close to what I went to school for or what I'm passionate about. So by going the freelance route, I've kind of been able to skip all of that fun doodads, but it's given me a new challenge of finding clients, which is incredibly difficult. What I kind of started doing this week is I've started working on Upworks, which seems like a really cool platform. It gives me something to do during the day. My job doesn't have very much for me to do, so don't tell my boss, but I don't really do much. And yeah, so I'm just kind of found it's very frustrating and intimidating that finding a job has become so difficult. Now that rant's over, let's go on to working on my personal brand. I like to start out oftentimes with a mood board. So I looked all over Pinterest, which is one of my favorite platforms to kind of just look for basic ideas, and was able to come up with this mood board. I love all things outdoorsy, going in the mountains, trees, hiking, anything outside. I really love, especially the aesthetic of it, like the flowers and plants. I have a ton of plants, as well as like that retro look. I really enjoy those primary color combinations, as well as like that poppy kind of 70s-ish vibe of graphic design. So I wanted to kind of combine both of those passions to create this awesome mood board so that it kind of pushes forward into the brand that I'm looking to create. When it came to the color choice, definitely a hard one. It's something that I feel like I still need to improve on, but I really enjoy the colors that I picked. I really wanted to go with like that very primary blue, red, yellow, all of those kinds of combinations, just because I think that it fits me. Like, I'm very much like you can kind of mix me around and make a bunch of cool stuff combination. So I really wanted to incorporate those colors because it not only kind of gave that retro vibe, but also went into like the national parks, things that I liked, and those like stamp and badge type logos. And so I thought that this color palette was really the best choice for this process. So that brings us to the word marking, or the main logo. I really wanted to keep the R. Roy branding, just because Roy is really important. It's my last name. I'm the last Roy. Really fun. But I didn't want to go with branding. I thought, it wasn't my favorite. I didn't like designs. So I was thinking of brainstorming words that would work, and I fell upon studio or studios, which I really liked the sound of, like R. Roy Studios, because I don't just make branding. I do web design, I do social media marketing, I do video production, animation. So I think studio is a really good word to use instead. So I decided to go with studio instead of design. I really wanted to use kind of like those bigger, blockier wording, just because I'm very bold and that's how I like to brand things. It's really fun for me to have those bigger letterings while incorporating like that 70s style. So after playing around with the just name itself, I was able to kind of come up with the final logo, which is placed here. I really love this logo. I think it incorporates my fun, energetic style of design, as well as being professional and straightforward. To incorporate the nature side of things that I wanted to incorporate, I'm going to do that a lot more with the icons and patterns and other little aspects that are a part of the design. The logo is very much like 70s retro, connected together, but I think it is modern and clean and really portrays what I'm wanting to as a brand, that I'm not only fun and that kind of sleek, nice look, but I also can be taken seriously in the design space. After designing the main logo marking, I went ahead and did some variations. I played a little bit more with that badge style along with the RR, which is my initials, just to kind of give myself some variations that I can use throughout all of my branding on social media. We can use it for my website, all of those other things. Speaking of a website, that is kind of my next challenge, is to start designing that website. I plan to start on my portfolio first to rebrand it so that it fits the new style that we're going for. And then at some point, I will be launching a freelance website where I'm able to sell my services, other assets, and goodies that I want to give out. But that's very much in the works. We still need to definitely think more about that. But here's kind of the whole brand package. We're gonna have all of the logo variations, the color variations, along with like the color palette, the mood board, and a few of the icons. I think I'll still continue to be working on those. I am not content with all of the different designs, but I added the mountains. I have a little mountain necklace that I wear every single day. I never take it off, just to kind of remind me of home. It's a little sweet place in my heart. I will put together a full brand like image at some point once I have kind of decided that I've done the icons justice. But as I said, this week's been a rough one, so I got as much of it done in the time frame as I possibly could. But all in all, I absolutely love this branding. I haven't loved branding that I've made. I felt kind of iffy about all of it. I might make some tweaks to it to some extent, but I think that this is the base brand. This is R. Roy Studios. I'm really excited to see what everyone else thinks about it and their thoughts about the brand, and see how I can build it into something hopefully amazing. Hopefully something that can build other people's brands and make them as passionate about what they're doing as I am about design. While I wasn't feeling super confident this week, I think making my personal brand has really helped me out to feel a little bit more professional and gain that kind of confidence and taking the right steps. I absolutely love what I created. I think it's super fun, and I think other people will hopefully enjoy it. It's definitely a good representation of my personality. What I will be working on next is getting our first gig. I will be primarily doing this through Upworks, but along with looking for freelance opportunities, of course, I will continue to apply for jobs. While that is not necessarily the most helpful, or not helpful, while it's not necessarily the most promising approach, it's something that you still gotta do to get out of there. But I am really excited to see what happens. We're gonna go through the process of maybe working on my website, my portfolio primarily, and hopefully be able to get a new gig. Cross our fingers that we're able to find a new position or just something fun to do on Upworks. Keep up with what's going on in my day-to-day life on my Instagram, which will be linked below. Also hit that follow button for the good, the bad, and ugly of this crazy design journey as I try to make my way into the design space, whether that's through freelance or getting a full-time position. Still up in the air, but hopefully we will be able to find something fun and exciting to do. Thanks for coming along, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. There's my cat. Where's Mookie? In all honesty, I'm just... My leg is falling asleep. Please come back. This is Mochamus, my little man's. He's kind of a menace, but we love him anyway because he is very cute and sometimes nice. See, he licked me after biting me.